What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and this is my recap on the Danny Jacobs, Luis Arias fight last night. I thought the fight was going to be a much better fight, considering all the smack and all the stuff and the build-up that Arias said, and spoke of. I thought it was going to be a much better fight than that, and what he did. Arias' problem is his inexperience. It showed. It was just blatant, and not to say he didn't want to win. He thought one shot was going to take Danny Jacobs out. That's not going to work. He should have observed when Golovkin hit him with good straight right hands and powerful left uppercuts. Danny Jacobs was still there. So I don't know how he expected to take out Danny Jacobs, with one punch. Now, I know that, Danny Jacobs has been dropped. He was down in the Golovkin fight, but it was more like a balance shot. It wasn't really a short circuit shot that, Golovkin hit him with. So, and Pittrug, again, he just hit him with the perfect punch for a few seconds, and then he didn't even get a full count. So I don't see how Arias thought that he would, and I see the first round, and I think what it was, Arias, when he hit him with a right, he hit him with a quick right inside, because he has a nice 1-2, and he loves to go shoot a right to the body. That's kind of like his signature bunch. He likes to work the body, but he didn't do that this particular go round, because the first round he felt Jacobs' punching power. When Jacobs hit him with that haymaker over the, that kind of hit him in the ear, that scared him. That woke him up. That was, that made him stop doing that. Look, he felt that power. That took him out of his own game plan. He never been hit like that. I think the guy he fought was Magadafov or something like that. But I mean, he was a fighter that was a pretty good fighter, and he had one loss, and Arias beat him. But it was amateur city, man. He just wasn't on that level. When Danny Jacobs hit him, he started clinching. He did not want to engage. And and really the referee should have took a point. He should have took a point off. He did knock Arias down. He injured his leg, but that was late in the fight. You can't blame that on anything. Danny Jacobs, he came to fight. Arias did not. Arias came to fight until he got hit. That's what it really was. So you got two guys that came to fight on two different levels. Arias came to fight. Jacobs came to fight. Arias got hit. Arias wasn't ready to fight no more. He changed his mind, But you could tell he still wanted to hurt Jacobs because he was doing a lot of hitting and holding. And then really, he should have, the referee should have deducted a point simply because not only was he excessively holding, he was excessively holding and hitting. So, you can't do that. It's illegal, So the ref should have, the ref was lenient on the young and experienced fighter. So he goes from 19-1, and Jacobs climbs the ladder. The only thing is now, where does Jacobs go from here? Jacobs, I would love to see him with fight Jamal Charlo, because Jamal is the new kid on the block, and I still feel that Jamal Charlo, I know how it works. There's levels to this, but I would like him to at least get his feet wet first, instead of just going in there with somebody like Danny Jacobs. But if you're up for the test, you're up for the test. You know what I mean? It's not a really big difference between 154 and 160 anyway. And, given that you were starting to make weight and you were, and then you had to get, you had to leave that division. So, no, I don't think it would be a big problem for Jamal to fight Jacobs. A lot of people think Jamal would beat him. I'm not really sure about that because, Jacobs is a crafty guy and styles make fights, and Jamal likes to exchange. He likes to exchange because he's always been the bigger guy. So it is interesting to see what he will do in there with another big guy and another hard punching guy like Jacobs. See, Jacobs is a hard thumping guy himself. He loves to mix it up. He loves to crack. I'd like to see how Jamal's power will register at 160. You know, what could his punching power do to the chin of Danny Jacobs? You know what I'm saying? That's what I would like to see. You know, Andrade, I don't know. Andrade's new to the division too. I think, honestly, Andrade and Jamal should duke it out for rights to fight Jacobs, because Jacobs been there. Those two guys just got there, so I don't think that they should just be going in there talking about Canelo and, you know, and even though Canelo did it, but Canelo, you know, this is his second fight. You know, he's already had 2 fights. He fought Golovkin, then he fought Chavez at 164.5, right? So he's been there for a couple fights at least, where these other guys has just made it to that division, you know, and I think that I would love to see Andrade and Jamal duke it out, you know, because Andrade's a long, rangy, fast, quick combination fighter. You know, he gets aggressive. I think he'll beat Lara in his career right now, but, you know, I can see why that fight didn't make it, but that's 154. We're talking about 160, okay? You got a lot of people at 160. Billy Joe Saunders and David Lemieux, we'll see them duke it out next month. We'll see what's happening with that. But everything is coming to a head, you know, so it's either Jamal and Jacobs, or Jacobs and Andrade, or Andrade and Jamal. So you can mix it up either way it comes, you know, and he signed again with Eddie Hearns, and, you know, and it's looking good for Daniel Jacobs. He looks good. He looks like he could go another 2 or 3 rounds after the fact. You know, he looked really well in there. You know, he looked better, really, because he looked a little timid in the Golovkin fight to me. He looked like he was hesitant to do the things that he did. He did a lot of responding, but he didn't initiate a lot of attacks, if that makes sense. So, but I really like him there, and I would like to see him in there with anybody, really. You know, I mean, because the sky's the limit for Danny Jacobs. But he looked good against this guy, Luis Arias. He goes to the back of the deck. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? Because if Arias would have put on a good effort, he could have at least still been in the mix. Now he goes back to, you know, ballrooms and, you know, bars to fight. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I would like to see Danny Jacobs take on the best in the division, because he deserves it. You know what I mean? And, you know, I would like to see what happens. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.